So, going back to the next topic, because we were talking about Google Trends, we're now going to get into keyword mapping for success. So, keyword mapping is the process of actually breaking down each one of your landing pages and utilizing 2 to 3 keywords per page that are going to be targeted for that page. So, I like to use Melanation as an example because she is going to have her website is about building an online community for women. So a lot of her online community related keywords are going to be targeted for her homepage. Same thing with like her membership, online membership for women. And those types of related keywords are going to be going on the membership page. So it's really important, and this is an SEO tactic where you're going to map 2 to 3 no more than 4 keywords per page that are going to be targeted for that landing page as you build out on content. So this is a really useful strategy, especially when you're mapping out your main categories, you're labeling your site architecture, and even for when you're creating blog posts, just to understand what is the keyword target that I'm going after for this specific page, blog, or product page. Which brings us into user intent. So as we were talking about with keyword research, user intent is really the why behind the keyword. So whenever we're looking up personal branding, or we're looking up keywords for books, so personal development books, these are going to have a why behind them, and Google shows you the why. So for instance, if someone is looking up personal branding again, that's going to be more of an informational search. And informational searches look like blog posts, they look like news articles, and they even sometimes look like product reviews and roundups. The next type is transactional. Transactional means that you're going to start to see more Google ads appear for this. You're going to start to see reviews appear for this. And this is going to be showing that people that type in this keyword are looking to buy something, or normally buy something. And Google gives you this information just by browsing that first page. You'll get an understanding on whether or not you're targeting an informational or a transactional term. The next type of term is called, or user intention is called navigational. This is when someone knows what they want and they just want Google to provide them the answer so they can get to where they're going. So this is when we start typing in like specific brand names, or we're typing in, pizza delivery near me. These are types of keywords where someone wants to go somewhere specifically. So the chart here is not just the only way that people search, and it doesn't go from this is not linear. This is just more to show you the different types of buckets that these keywords fall into. Where informational is a lot broader, it is a lot more competitive. Same with commercial and transactional. Those keywords are smaller in the keyword sets, but they're also more competitive as well. So this is really just showing you the different types of user intentions and things to think about as you're typing in those different keywords to understand what is the why behind someone searching this. So probably the most popularized concept in my industry is talking about optimization areas. So optimization areas are areas that you control on your website that you can optimize for to give Google clues and hints about what your website is about. And it really is what Google uses to rank and filter out different sites. So the first concept here is titles and meta descriptions. So titles and meta descriptions are going to be your prime real estate on the search engine. They're those things that as we're typing in, we see the page title, we see the URL, we see the meta description, and that is what Google is showing the user, along with using that in the back end to filter out different pages. So your page title and meta descriptions are really important. In this section, I've included a title and meta description SERP simulator so that you can understand making sure that your titles are very concise and your meta descriptions are very concise too. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your titles anywhere from 60 to 80 characters. And another hack that I like to tell people is to make sure that your brand name is included within that page title being seen. So when you're using the search simulator, you'll want to make sure that you're not only targeting your keywords, but you have a mention of your brand name, either with a dash, your brand name, or a pipe in your brand name. This is especially useful for brand new sites that need to establish that trust and authority and getting people to click through, because they're going to start seeing your actual brand name. So I would definitely, while focusing on keywords, also be focusing on making sure your brand name is included, so that it's recognizable for people. The next one to keep in between characters are meta descriptions. So while meta descriptions are extremely useful for getting people to click through, they're not a Google ranking factor. Google does use them sometimes to bold specific, like if someone typed a query and that exact word is in the meta description, they'll bold it to attract people to actually click through to that website. So your meta description is kind of like that advertising space that you get to tell someone what your site is about or what that page is about. You want to make sure they're unique. Titles and meta descriptions need to be unique. And then from there, you started the first initial process of your SEO setup is the title and meta description. So when someone actually clicks through to the page, you're going to see your content. And the most important thing to take away from here is that there's a certain hierarchy for your headers, with your H1 being being the most important thing on the page when it comes to headers. So headers are also a really good way to not only break down content and increase readability on your site, but to also include keyword phrases that are going to be relevant to your business. So headers are another way for you to optimize and for you to specifically target keywords in those sections of the header. So again, this just helps you to outline your posts by having headers and increases the readability, because if someone clicks through to your page and you see a block of content and you haven't really guided them in that content, that'll make somebody go right back to the search engine, versus if they land on your page, they see a clear hierarchy. And this is becoming extremely important, more so for user experience. It helps to keep them on the page. The third most important optimization area is your post URL. So in this example, I've included a screenshot of an optimized URL versus an unoptimized URL. So you want to make sure that you're including keywords, but you want to make sure that this is very concise and tight. So I do like to recommend that people do not use their actual product titles or their actual blog titles as a part of the URL. I do recommend that if you have a specific topic that you're talking about on that page, that it's specifically, it's very tight and concise. So like Beginner's Guide to SEO, really useful. I know exactly what this is gonna, what page this is gonna be once I click on it. Versus if I'm seeing something with numbers, it's probably gonna be like, oh, I'm not clicking on that URL, it looks kind of funky. So the post URL is definitely something else as an optimization area for you to pay attention to. Last but not least, there's a tool I like to use called the LSI graph. And what the LSI graph is it's showing you the different content areas, how to optimize your content for other related words. So those related words are really useful for building, again, on the authority and trust of the keyword focus that you've established for the page. So in all the keyword research that you've done, you want to take your main topic, throw it into the LSI graph, and see if there are other mentions of synonyms or related words that you can include, so that one, you're not keyword stuffing and putting, one specific term throughout the content, but that you're including more variations of that term to help you rank better. So the LSI graph is going to help you establish like some different variations that you maybe didn't think about that will be related to that prime topic. This strategy is also very useful, that whenever you're creating pages, whenever you're creating posts, you want to make sure that you have a link somewhere to other relevant parts of your site. So internal links, I always say that if you're going to include internal links, it needs to be within the first 200 to 500 words of supporting and relating content. So the best example that I can think of with this one is, let's say that you've already created a post of your wash day routine, and your next post is going to be your wash day products. So if you've already created this post about a routine, and now you're going to be creating a post about the products, you're going to want to, in that first opening paragraph, you're going to want to establish that you've already created content regarding this topic that's supporting what you've already written about. So you're writing a topic about your natural or hair care products. You're going to mention that people can also check out your wash day, your full wash day routine, but that these are your recommended products. So what that does is it ties those posts together as related content. And that's really where you start to embrace building authority on your site. So that is really awesome for building authority to new landing pages. The other thing that you can do with the tool that we talked about previously, Google Search Console, is you can see what your top landing pages are for the month. And you can start to say, well, I know this page is getting a lot of attention, so I'll probably want to include some internal links to maybe some newer blog posts or some blog posts that are related to my topic here, so that I can build authority and page flow to those pages. So I would definitely say that including a link or two internally to your website just helps to build authority and letting people and Google know what's already important on your site. So to recap, I have a list of the tools that we discussed today, specifically with Google Search Console, your Moz bar, the Keyword Explorer, Answer the Public, Google Trends, the Headline Analyzer, and then your LSI graph. So these are really useful tools that you're going to be using, and they're all free for you to use to get an idea of what you could be doing better. So to kick off the Q&A session, I have 3 questions that people normally ask me. One of my top questions is, why would I invest in SEO if I'm doing so well in other ways? So because you're doing so well in other aspects of your business, SEO is just going to be that additional thing that you can use in your toolbox to grow the longevity of your brand. So I always tell people that SEO is more of a long-term play for building authority on your website than it is short-term. So while social media is really about catching attention, understanding how people engage, it's kind of like your survey monster. Their brand website is actually how do people convert because of your brand. So if I'm creating all this awesome content on social media, but I'm not translating that into my website, I'm losing value of that content that could be useful for someone that is searching for what I do online. The other question I get is, when should I start SEO? SEO, you can start SEO at any phase of your business, whether you're successful or beginning. I do like to tell people to get started as soon as possible because it does take a while to rank. So you want to start your SEO efforts as soon as possible, or wherever you're at in that stage of your business, so that you can leapfrog the competition. You can add that, you can start getting that tool set of building brand authority onto your website. So while you may be very successful in social media, if you're not translating that content, it's lost now, because once it's done, versus if it's living on your site, it's something that people can always refer back to, which if people are coming back to your site for specific things, then that's going to, again, just build authority of that piece. And Google's going to recognize that for your website. The other question that I had come through is, how long does it take to rank for SEO? Your SEO efforts, depending on how competitive your space is, it can take anywhere from 3 to 4 months. And that is of consistently making changes on your website to effect. So that's optimizing your titles and meta descriptions maybe in the first month. That's including your internal linking strategy and building out content to support your keyword focus in month 2. And then month 3, maybe like really taking a look at how you're performing and where do you adjust. So 3 to 6 months is pretty safe, especially if your site is more, if you're entering a more competitive search space, it is going to take a little bit longer. But once you start ranking online, that's your spot on Google. And it does change depending as people enter and leave the space. So that's something else to consider as well. So I guess I'll start with ways that we can work together. One of the ways that we can work together is doing monthly SEO consultation. So I do offer this as like a coaching call of what needs to be done on your website. What are your top 3 quick wins and how to implement them? We can talk about competitive analysis. We can talk about keyword research. This is really just an hour of time to talk through your website and what are some possible things that you could be thinking about when it comes to your SEO. The next service that I offer is really SEO auditing and reporting for clients. So if you are interested in becoming a client, I do offer a service where not only am I auditing your site every month for SEO improvements, but I'm also providing reporting on how these improvements are assisting you with your organic search results and organic traffic and conversion efforts. The next service that I offer is full SEO setup. So everything that we discussed today, from keyword research to optimization and tool setup, is something that I include in the full SEO setup. So these are things that already just come to you, handed over. It normally takes about a month for us to complete the full process, but it's really to get you up and going, started with your SEO efforts as soon as you're ready to get started. So this is that full, everything that we discussed today, that full SEO setup. If you're interested in keeping in touch, one of the things that you can do is subscribe to my mailing list. I am working on a relaunch for my website to go into more depth of blog posts of how different things that I'm noticing in the industry, my day-to-day as an SEO, and just working on more of that behind the scenes content, along with showcasing my portfolio, and just having like those service offerings available. I'm also thinking of expanding into an SEO group, but first I'm going to get that relaunch started. The other thing is that you can follow me on Instagram at More SEO. This is my brand page where I normally post tips, announce any classes that are coming up that I'm working on, and just any announcements business-wise. You can also email me directly to start your SEO project. But because we have this class today, if you contact me starting next week from 5 to 7, I have slots available for us to walk through Google Search Console setup. So if there's one thing that I want everyone in this class to do is to really sign up for Google Search Console, and I am going to assist with that. And we'll also talk through what the tool is, how to use it, things to expect moving forward. Okay, hold on. Things to expect moving forward and how you can use the tool for your performance. So if you don't have any other additional questions for me, thank you guys so much for joining my presentation today. And if you're interested in connecting, please use any one of those outlets to reach out to me. So thank you guys for the time today. Also, if you just have any questions, then feel free to hit me up so that we can connect and get to know each other and just talk about your SEO efforts. So thank you for your time today. I sincerely appreciate it. And I'm grateful. Thank you to Jasmine for allowing me to do this class on her platform. So you guys have a great night. And don't forget to email me if you want to get started with your Google Search Console setup.